In this video, I'll tell you something awesome about the Ducati Diavel V4. Do not miss a second of this video for all the details. You will thank me by the end. I'm sharing my first impressions of the BT Moto tune on the Diavel V4 and how it has made this bike nuts. Watch this video in full 4K for the best visuals, especially during the 360 camera riding footage. That said, let's do work. The Ducati Diavel is a one-of-a-kind bike. It's the only bike I've owned multiple models of, including my Diavel V4, and there are many reasons I keep coming back for more. It's big, it's bold, it's powerful at 170 horsepower and 93 pound-feet of torque, it's comfortable with an upright seating position and a low seat height of just 31 inches. You can go far with 5.3 gallons, and despite its muscular size, it's only 520 pounds curb weight. With that massive 240mm rear tire, you can rock it to 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds, and now after this tune, probably less than 2 seconds. And despite that massive wheel, somehow the Ducati geniuses have made the bike corner like a sport bike. Are those enough reasons for you? The Diavel has been my favorite bike of all time, and I've owned a lot of bikes. However, as a former Ducati Diavel 1260S owner, I noticed while the V4 improved the model in almost every way, such as cornering like I thought impossible on a bike like this, it also lowered my favorite thing about the platform, that big L-twin torque. Technically, Ducati only lowered it by about 2 pound-feet, but when you go from that huge L-twin engine to the V4 and smooth out the torque delivery like they did on the up map, it's a noticeable decline in torque. Very noticeable. On my 1260S, I could twist the throttle and have genuine fear. And on my V4, I'm sorry to say that thrill has been diminished because of the missing punch of torque. The other point of dislike is the rear cylinder deactivation at under 4,000 RPM, which for me is clunky, distracting, and detracts from the performance. I was constantly mindful of that 4K mark, constantly looking down at the tach and worrying that the bike might be struggling, and it was putting a taint on my ride experience. So I love my Diavel V4, but I miss the torque and the simpler operation that my 1260S had. And then something fateful happened this summer. My friend, who bought 4 different BT Moto tunes for 4 of his motorcycles, including his Diavel V4, took a ride on his Diavel after the tune and then immediately called me up and said, "Brian, you need to get this tune right now." I was skeptical at first because I had my Diavel 1260S Pro tune for over $1,000, and I really didn't feel a big difference after that tune. But I trusted in my friend, and I got the tune and the tuner from BT Moto, and I got the upgraded filter as well. And let me tell you, I can now let go of the past. I can finally say goodbye to my Diavel 1260S experience. Alright, before I get into the results, for your information, this is a stock Diavel V4 with stock exhaust and no other performance mods except for the upgraded air filter I got with the tune. I put about 1,000 miles on the bike before the tune, and I've put about 280 miles on the bike after the tune. Let's start off with an overview of what the tune offers. 1. More power and torque. Duh. We'll take a look at the numbers later, but I can confidently tell you that the tune over-delivers on power and torque. 2. It has a fueling strategy that simplifies the way the bike calculates fueling needed and allows it to react quicker to throttle inputs. 3. Quick shifting is quicker. 4. The rev limiter is increased by 500, so it goes from 10,750 stock to 11,250 max RPM. 5. The speed governor has been turned off. Not that I would test such a thing, outside of Mexico at least. Anyway. 6. Raised torque limiters for lower gears. 7. Raised load limiters for more airflow. And 8. It pleases me greatly to say you have the option to remove the cylinder deactivation. It does some other things like fixes cold start roughness as well, and some other things that I'll test and report back on in another video. So let's talk. How did it perform? I will tell you that I've had multiple sports cars and motorcycles tuned, everything from my 2017 Subaru STI back in the day, to my Shelby GT350, to pretty much every motorcycle I've ever owned, and I can tell you right now, this BT Moto tune, without a doubt, is the best tune I have ever experienced across all vehicles. It's that good. My Diavel V4 is not only what it should have been from the factory, but even better than that. We got back that face-punching torque that throws you back in your seat and then some, and as a testament to that, the front tire lifted up in first, second, and third gear with only moderate acceleration. It is awesome. The first thing I noticed was a smooth and balanced idle right from the start. The second thing I noticed was an ultra smooth shift from first to second. The third thing I noticed was that when I twisted the throttle, I myself did something I haven't done in a long time on a bike. I had a vocal flow of uncontrolled uncontrollable wows and woes in first, second, and finally third gear, and that impressive acceleration continued through fourth, fifth, and sixth gears all across the power band. If you're like me and you love just to say wow when you hit that throttle, this tune does that. I tested out the new max rev range, and the bike just keeps going smoothly all the way to limiter, and I enjoy the extra room for fun past the 11,000 RPM mark that the tune provides. Early torque is massive, and that is in alignment with the Ducati Diavel's motto of low speed excitement. In other words, you're not going 190 miles per hour on this bike like you can on a Panigale, but what Ducati meant by that low speed excitement was the 0 to 80 miles per hour range where most of us live most of the time. And this tune amplifies that excitement, now allowing us to enjoy both that L-twin-like torque as well as the smooth high revving power of the V4. On the stock map, and this was big for me, one thing I noticed was there wasn't much power and torque in third gear onward. Don't get me wrong, the bike does have a smooth linear power delivery and it's fast, but it just didn't propel you forward with an exciting thrust. Well, I'm happy to tell you that third gear is now back in business, and the amplified power continues throughout the power band in fourth, fifth, and sixth as well. But third gear is where a lot of us spend the most of our time, and I'm so happy the tune has amped it up. It's made the bike so much more fun. So now my Diavel experience is what I always wanted it to be. The bike blasts off from first through third and has big power in fourth through sixth for passing on the highway or for those short bursts up beyond 100 miles per hour in the cornfields. For me, one of the top annoyances with the stock bike was that rear cylinder deactivation, which is supposed to save gas and reduce heat. Basically, anything under 4,000 RPM is only 2 cylinders, complete with an entirely different exhaust sound and feel, and everything above that is 4 cylinders. I hated it. I was constantly mindful of it, and I'm so thankful to have that removed with the BT Moto tune. So far, I've seen 0 change in gas mileage. If anything, I'm actually getting more miles, and the heat is not an issue. Anyway, you don't have to worry. If you like the cylinder deactivation, you can just get the tune without the option to turn it off. In summary, these have been my first impressions. I feel the BT Moto tune brings the Diavel V4 back to scary good again and beyond. Or stay off the throttle and you can cruise leisurely. The tune makes this bike smoother. Smoother to start, smoother to shift, smoother to accelerate. It really does it all. I am a multiple Diavel owner, and I'm telling you right now, you need this tune. Now, someday in the future, I'd like to get an aftermarket exhaust in this bike and maybe do some other performance mods, and that's not a problem because BT Moto gives you the tuner device and you can keep it, and then you can just call them up and order new maps at any time. The tool also has a beta test to reset the service light of your bike, and I'll test that out on another video. I'll also review the dyno and power and torque gains in a video coming soon. Guys, I reached out to BT Moto and asked them if I could partner with them, and they have agreed to give a 5% discount to anyone who uses my code below. Alright guys, subscribe for some big things coming down the pipeline. Like, comment below, and always remember the motto, always be kinder than necessary, and I will see you in the next one. Guys, I was so excited to test out this tune that I was accelerating so hard that I almost got into an accident like this poor guy. Keep the front wheel down, people. I love you guys.